Most people, when they talk about visiting Korea, talk about going to Seoul or Jeju. But there's another city that I definitely think is worth visiting, and that's Busan. It's in the south of the country, and there's so much to see and eat there. And in this video, I'm going to go over everything you need to know and what you should see while you're there visiting Busan. First off, I want to say if I pronounce any Korean words incorrectly, I apologize for that in advance. I'll put the English and Korean names on the screen for you for any place that I'm mentioning to make it easier to find, and I'll also link as many of them as I can in the description below. The first one is Gamcheon Cultural Village. It's a small village to the east side of the city that's filled with colorful houses, long winding streets that goes up into the hills, many viewpoints to see the rest of the village and the sea as well. And it's just a very beautiful place where you could stop and get some souvenirs or get a coffee and watch the water and watch the rest of the village. It was a great place that I visited with my friend, and it's definitely something I recommend while you're visiting Busan. The next is Gwangali Beach. This is a beach where you could see the giant bridge out in front of you as you're sitting on the beach, and it's another great place to find some cafes or just go to any of the restaurants nearby. It's a really lively area. You might see some other tourists there. While I was there, I saw some people from the American Army who were there stationed in Korea, and they went down to Busan for their trip. And so there's a lot of different people in that area. You could even go paddleboarding if the weather is right. So it's a really beautiful area to just relax and get a coffee again while viewing the ocean. Busan is located by the ocean, so as you'll see on this list, many of the things are located by the ocean. The next thing to see is Samyeon. This is an area within the city. It's a great place to go shopping or even go out to a bar or again more restaurants, but this is where I went shopping to buy clothes. Korea has a great sense of fashion, and there's a lot of affordable places to go shopping in Samyeon, as well as that's where I went out to a few bars with my friend who studies there and lives there in Busan. Since Busan is one of the smaller cities, I definitely recommend taking a day trip to Gyeongbokgung Palace, where around this palace you'll see a lot of the classic and historical parts of Korea. You'll be able to see what the old palaces looked like, as well as temples and other things around. It's also a very beautiful landscape and park area. When I went, it was during the beginning of summer, so there was a nice sunset over there, and it's just a beautiful place if you want to have a picnic or just get to know Korea a little deeper outside of the cities, as it's quite a contrast from being inside the big cities, even such as Busan. Taking a trip out there from a bus, it's really easy to get there from Busan, so you could just book any day trip there on one of the buses and it'll be a great trip. If you're in your 20s and are looking to meet other people or go out, then the area surrounding Busan National University is a great place for that. While I was staying in Busan, I was actually staying in that area, so that's where my friend was studying, and we went around and met some other international students, and there's a lot of amazing Korean barbecue restaurants around that area. Although it's not as well known, it's super cheap, super affordable. There's many cafes and also clothing stores to buy around that area as well. And I found it to be a little easier to navigate than Samyeong, so I would definitely recommend checking out the area surrounding Busan National University. Although Busan is not the most touristy city, one of the attractions they do have is the Busan Tower, which is also located near the Gukji Market. There you could buy some different street foods and also find other vendors. It has a park around the Busan Tower, which of course is one of the classic attractions of visiting that city. Finally, while you're there, one place you definitely have to visit is either a Jimjilbang, as I've mentioned in previous videos, or Spa Land. Anywhere that you could go into the hot springs and feel the beautiful spa water that they have in Busan. It's a great place to go to relax, and if you do end up visiting a Jimjilbang, those are the nude saunas and different places like that. However, the regular spa lands, you could find clothed saunas as well. When it comes to what to eat while you're there, you absolutely have to try the Korean barbecue. There's pork belly and many different meats that you could order straight to your table from the tablet. It's a really great experience because you cook the meat yourself, which I've heard people say, why would I do that? It's a restaurant. But you could cook it to whatever level you like. There's many different sides and sauces you could mix and combine. And Korean barbecue is just an amazing experience that if you're in the country, you have to experience it at least once. Also, for a more dessert type thing, you should get a souffle cake. This looks like a giant stacked pancake. It can be very sweet. I couldn't finish the whole thing by myself as it looks like 3 or 4 pancakes on top of each other. But if you do like sweets, it's definitely something to try out, as I've only seen it in Korea before. When it comes to street food, you definitely have to try out the fish cakes, the kimbap, and the tteokbokki. These are super classic Korean street foods that you could find in a lot of different areas in Busan. One of the best places I found was to try it near the Busan National University area, and ordering the kimbap in the street was such an amazing experience. You just get it right from the people working out there. They have like a little place to stand and eat it there. So it was really delicious, and I totally recommend it, as kimbap is one of my favorite foods. If you do end up going to a bar, then a classic Korean drink is of course soju, as you may have seen the green bottles before, but one that I didn't know about before arriving there was makgeolli. This is a rice drink that's kind of hard to describe. It's a bit milky, and it could come in different flavors such as banana or strawberry, but compared to soju, it's a lot less harsh and it tastes a lot less like alcohol. To pair something with that while you're at a bar, I would recommend ordering the scallion pancakes called chon. And you could also get that mixed in with shrimp or just vegetables or meat. There's many different types of chon you could order. Alongside that, bulgogi is a marinated pork, which is really delicious. When I had it, it came frozen with the sauce in it, and they gave us like a boiler, and then they turned it on and it just started cooking right there in front of us. And finally, bibimbap, another super classic Korean dish. Definitely try it while in Busan. I had it both in Seoul and in Busan, and I found that while near Gyeongbokgung Palace, that was actually the best bibimbap I had altogether. They sell it both with raw beef and cooked beef as well. The raw beef was really interesting because for me in the US that was quite strange, as they don't normally sell raw beef, but it actually turned out really good. I hope these recommendations helped you out if you do end up going to Busan. If you're looking for cheap ways to get there, I definitely recommend checking out this video linked here on how I book cheap flights. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate a comment or a like. And if you want to see more travel related videos in the future, I recommend getting subscribed. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.